This exhibition is made from the viewpoint of an outsider. It would be ridiculous, presumptuous, and absolutely pointless to try and speak as though I actually know what's going on and I live there, because of course I don't, just a visitor. And even if I get to be a slightly more long-term visitor and have a few more insights to your average tourist, I am just a tourist. But I think that even in my position, I do have an opportunity to redress the terrible negative stereotypes that we hear all the time. And also a lot of people's presumptions, because since we only hear negative things, people are quite frightened and actually totally misunderstand what wonderful places these are. And I hope that in some small way, this exhibition will help to redress this. The images that I made in sketchbooks and scrolls were done either while I was sitting in the place looking at it, or sometimes they were done back in the hotel straight after I'd seen it. I could sometimes look at some photographs that I'd just taken to remind me, but I was also working from memory. It was something I'd just seen. Drawing takes time, and the fact that you actually have to spend time means that you gain a greater understanding of something. And in an odd way, a drawing almost captures that amount of time. You see not just what something looks like, but you also see what happens. For example, drawing a market, you see how people walk through it. You see who comes and goes. You notice how long people spend looking at each stall or what they're selling. You notice little incidental odd details that you would not see if you quickly took photographs or walked through fast. I've been to Morocco many times, and it's easy to see why it was inspirational for people like Delacroix and Matisse, who just found, particularly say, think of Matisse, the use of pattern and things, so incredibly wonderful and influential in his work. This is Ait Ben Adou in southern Morocco. It's been used as a film set for many films, including Gladiator and tons of things. Ancient mud brick. Extraordinary. You just can't believe how wonderful it is and that it's still there. And it's a place that you can spend ages walking around exploring. And of course, by drawing it and studying it to draw, I felt that I have gained slightly more of an understanding of what it looks like. I've always drawn in sketchbooks, and I've also done a lot of drawings in folding sketchbooks or concertinas. It's a continuous long piece where it can be a visual diary where I draw different things that happen to me each day or different things that catch my attention. And also scrolls I've been doing, which are the same sort of thing, particularly when I've been traveling. And I can use them as a real diary with just any incidental things, quite often odd little quirky experiences that I have that I can draw from memory or from what's really in front of me. And I can also do the sort of panorama where I'm sitting somewhere, say a cafe, and I'm looking across at a scene and I'm drawing everything I see in perhaps a 360 or a 180 of what is actually there unfolding in front of me. Quite often I appear in my own folding books, the diaries particularly, me walking through things, me with Bernard or one of my friends. In my private visual diaries, particularly say the black and white folding books, they really are a diary of what happens in the trip. And when I start, I have absolutely no idea what's coming next. So it's whatever I experience, where I go and what I see. And that might be a funny little incident somewhere, or it might be a grand panorama of something. So it could be going and looking at various shops, which of course is something that you do. It could be meeting some people in a cafe. It could be a wonderful interaction with someone by an ancient gate. It could be what I saw in the hotel, or or almost anything. It certainly always incorporates the architecture and the things that I see around me, Persian gardens, ancient mud brick pattern. So many wonderful things to draw. We loved visiting the markets. Some of them were in ancient bazaars, hundreds and hundreds of years old, with the most incredible architecture. You could see that every generation had added things and subtracted things, and people were still going about the way that their ancestors had been in some cases, buying different kinds of herbs and spices and having them weighed up, although of course that was taking place next to a mobile phone shop. When I was at a market in Iran, I came across an art class. There were a lot of students all sitting around drawing in this small sort of square. I became interested in what they were doing, and I sat down and started to draw with them. And we had this really wonderful conversation, some of which was just I showing them my drawing and they showing me theirs. Although there was a young girl who could speak some English, and she said, which I thought was such a lovely phrase, "We can talk through drawing." And we both understood what each other was doing and what each other was trying to do. And there was wonderful camaraderie.